Hi, my name is Katherine, and this is my knitting corner. I am a social worker in southern Iowa and a single mom to two pretty amazing kids I adopted internationally. I also have four cats who are currently walking around and may jump up in front of me. This is our third take because one keeps jumping in front of the camera. I've been knitting for over 30 years. I learned when I was a kid from my mom, and for several years when I was in middle school and high school and even college, I crocheted and I really enjoyed that. And then when I was in graduate school, I picked up knitting again, and I've been knitting really primarily for the past 20 years. I knit daily as part of what helps keep me grounded and keeps me just de-stressed, and it's something that I do for my own mental health, which I think is really important for all of us. And I really enjoy watching knitting podcasts. My youngest daughter likes to watch them with me when she gets a chance, and she's here with me, peeking over my shoulder. And so she's really intrigued by the fact that I'm actually making a podcast, and we'll see how this goes. So, this is Ella.
Hi.
Yeah, she's 10. She started drinking coffee. Yeah, life's fun. We're on summer break right now, which is awesome. And we just got back from a really nice long vacation to my girls' birth country of Bulgaria, which was a fun, exciting vacation and very long and tiring, especially since my oldest daughter is a wheelchair user and Bulgaria is not set up for people who are wheelchair users. So disability awareness and disability advocacy is something that's very important to me because both of my girls do have physical disabilities. Ella is ambulatory, meaning that hers does not require the use of an aid like a wheelchair or a walker, where my older daughter Maria does require the use of a wheelchair due to her physical disability. So I'm sure at times if this continues, you'll hear me talk about disability awareness and their specific disabilities. So let's get into this. Finished objects. Last month, while we were on vacation, I worked on my Musselboro hat. This is probably the 10th one I've done. This is by Yazilda Teague, and I used baby cat yarn for the main color in her DK, Superwash DK, and the color Rose Quartz. And I held it together with Ching Fiber mohair, silk mohair, in the color Pop Slide. And I really gave a really amazing look to the fabric and to the hat overall. It's super soft. I love it. I have enough left over. I'm hoping to make a pair of matching mittens. So this was one of the finished objects I had from last month in June. I had a couple other finished objects. One was an anchor sweater that I did in an anchor's cardigan. Sorry, I did in Rowan felted tweed. I gifted that to one of my really good friends, Julie. And then I also made a baby or a 1 to 2 year old sweater using some leftover baby cat yarn, and gifted that to a neighbor down the street that has an adorable little girl. So my other finished object for this month is this sweater, and the name is German and I don't want to butcher it, so it is pronounced Sonnenstuden Tee. It is by Evie Knitwear, and I use Madeline Tosh Twist Light in the color Rye Bourbon. I just recently finished this. I love the fit. It's just nice. I love the seed stitch detail here, and there's seed stitch detail down the side, and there's fuzz on it because I have cats. But I love it, and it's going to be a really nice staple for work when I return to work for the school year. So that's what I have been finished, what I've been working on. Well, I'm going to start with what's behind me. This is my cozy memory blanket. I have been working on this since 2018. I took a few years off from working on it and decided I really wanted to finish it this year. So I have been working on it very monogamously on Sundays. I've been trying to get at least 8 squares done, if not more, every Monday. Yesterday I got done 12. So I'm making progress. I have approximately 100 squares left, and then I'm going to do an I-cord bind off around the edge, and then that will be done, and I am very excited for that to be done. I do love it. It is a very nice, it's going to be a very nice blanket when it's finished. Just using different minis and scrap yarns, and it is very large. This is in fourths right now, so you can see it's a large blanket, but it's going to be nice when it's done. And I have to keep it hidden because one of my cats will chew holes in it if I don't. So that is one blanket. Other projects I am working on. I will start with this one. This, I don't know what bag this is. This might be a Beautiful Sister bag, but I could be wrong. This is my Woolberry DK. It was a one of her like mystery bags, so it didn't have a name, but it's a nice dark chocolatey brown. And I am working on making a Oslo hat. This is the women's size. It is for my friend Charlie, who is a really great guy. He's Julie's husband. And he is our kind of handyman, helps me out since I'm a single mom and there's certain things I just don't know how to do. And so he loves brown, and he's always doing stuff outside, especially in the winter. Our winters here can be very, very cold, very icy. We usually get a really nasty wind chill. And so I'm making him a hat. And so this is one of my projects, living in this little bag. And it was one of my travel bags because it has all the different like passports and stickers and travel on it. And we all like to travel. Yeah. My next finished object, this is a Mr. Snickle and Bee bag. I love her bags. Snickle and Mr. B. She's really good. This is using Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. And this is the raspberry, I'm gonna forget the name of it. Raspberry Pink is the colorway. And this is going to be a moonset tee. It is for my mom for her birthday. Her birthday's at the end of the month. I just started it. This is going to be my main work in progress over the weekdays. I tend to do scrappy on Sunday. Saturday I work on shawl projects. Hold on. Will you go get that from him? Thank you. One of my cats has found a bag and is now trying to get into it because they're cats. So I just started this. I'm making this for my mom. She chose the color. She's seen the pattern. She knows I'm making it for her. I don't know that she realizes I'm trying to finish it for her birthday, which I will get it done for her birthday. So this is, hopefully, if I do this again, you'll see more of this next time. But I also got a different color, a blue for me, because I really like the moonset tee also, and I thought it was really pretty. So that is my moonset tee that I'm working on. My last my last work in progress is living in my Delicue traveling case, but I'm gonna just pull out the top layer so I can just bring this over. Okay. This is Stephen West's, and it is his Rain or Shine shawl. It is holding lace weight silk mohair double. I have about 10 repeats until I'm done with it. I started this in May. I did not give it any love last month. I typically work on my shawls on Saturdays, and I'm hoping I'll get done with this before the end of the month. I only have 10 more repeats, and a repeat is two of the color rows. I'm using Madeline Tosh yarns. Let's see, I've got Copper Pink, Birkenstock, Birkenstick, Oscurio, Wilted, and this one is Meow. So that is that project. I really do like this project. I think that it's going to be a lovely, soft, warm shawl that I'm going to really love to wear during the winter and fall, and I love the colors. I do like reds and grays, and I think the pink is a nice little mix in there, and so I'm excited to get this one done because I do love shawls. So talking about like projects, I am one of those kind of silly people that tends to plan out my projects for the entire year, which I know probably sounds kind of crazy. Last year in 2022, I actually planned out and knitted a Stephen West shawl every month, or one shawl every month for the entire year, and I ended up knitting 14 of his shawls over the course of the entire year. This year, I have been really focused on trying to knit from my stash and knit sweaters for me and for my kids. So I've made I made both of my girls a So Faded using some beautiful moon glow yarn, which is on my Ravelry and Instagram page. My Instagram is also Katherine. It's Knitting Corner. And my Ravelry is SocialCat78. So I've been working really hard on knitting a sweater every month for myself or for my kids. And so this one was not from stash. This one was one I had found the pattern, and I really liked the idea of a short sleeve t-shirt. And so I went ahead and bought the yarn, and I ended up knitting it this month because I wanted to be able to wear it back to work next month in August. So one project I was planning on to make this month, and I don't know that we'll get to it, was using was a boxy using I'm going to call this Knit My Stash, and I was going to knit a boxy using Bird Straight yarn. He's a UK dyer, and this is the color Long Meadow. And it's just a really pretty blue with some brown speckles in it and some darker blue tones. I really like the boxy sweater, and I have two. I have the lace and fade and I have the regular boxy. And I wanted to do this into a V-neck boxy because I do get a lot of wear out of those. And so I'm hoping that before the end of the month I will be able to get this at least cast on to start and maybe work on it next month too. My other Knit Your Stash yarn that I've had in stash for a while is this is Madeline Tosh Sport, and this is the colorway Whiskey Barrel. It's a really pretty brown with some black and blue undertones in it. And I'm planning on making the Leclerc sweater, which is a really pretty all over lace pattern pullover. I actually test knitted it a few years ago and I really enjoyed it, but the sweater I made was, I tested it in a size that wasn't my size, and so I ended up gifting it to a friend, and it turned out beautifully. It was gorgeous, and this was the yarn that she suggested for the pattern. So I love the Whiskey Barrel color, the dark moody brownie black, and I'm going to use this to make my own Leclerc sweater for myself. So hopefully, if I do this again, you'll see this started. Now let's talk about some acquisitions. When we were in Bulgaria, I had taken 4 projects and I ran out of yarn for 2 of them. The little Gramps sweater and my hat. I needed a little bit extra yarn for that, the DK yarn, to finish that. And I was about finished on my Anchors cardigan. I finished the sleeve while we were waiting for our first flight home. And then I was working on the Oslo hat. I made it a larger size than what I made it the next size larger and realized I was going to run out of yarn, and it was kind of a one-of-a-kind yarn, and I had gotten it on a D-stash, and I was going to be able to get any more to finish it, so I frogged it all back, and I ended up knitting the smaller size because we figured that it would work. But while we were there, Ella and I walked to a knitting store in Sofia, which is the capital city, and we walked about a little over 2 miles there and back, and it was a nice walk.
We were gone about maybe 30 minutes.
We were gone closer to an hour. But part of that was because, we were trying to navigate in a city that we're not familiar with. But there was a nice little yarn store there that the woman dyes her own yarn, and I bought a skein of hand-dyed yarn for one of my adoption single mom friends, Jolie, and I sent it off to her. She should be getting it today. And then I bought some Holst Garn Haya, which is a baby alpaca silk yak blend, and this is so soft. I bought 3 skeins of this. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it right now, but it needs to become something beautiful because it is so soft and it is such a pretty color.
Maybe a hat?
It might be a hat. I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to get more of it, hold it double, and make a Sophie shawl, but I'm not sure. We'll wait and see.
That looking good.
Honey, I could buy more online. So this was one of my more recent acquisitions, and like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm also on a Discord D-stash, and I ended up buying 2 skeins of Explorer knits and fibers in the colorway Pollen. This is not typically a color I buy, but I kind of liked the grello-y green color, and I thought it's something that could be really fun and pretty. I have a silk mohair I thought about holding with 1 skein to make a different muscle burl hat or something, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm also kind of thinking Stephen West Mystery Knit Along will be coming up in October, and this might be a really fun yarn to include in that. So I'm kind of holding on to this and kind of wondering what to do with it, and no plans. I try to buy yarn with plans in place so that I'm not just buying extra yarn. I actually have something I'm going to do with it. So I'm not sure about this, but I decided I couldn't let it pass me by, and it's, like I said, not typically a color I choose, but I kind of am interested in seeing what I can make with it. Other acquisitions, I bought 2 skeins of Tosh Vintage, which is a worsted weight in the color Joshua Tree, and also 2 in Saffron. And these I'm going to make into camisole tanks for me to go under as layering pieces for work. I really like the green, the Joshua Tree green, and the saffron color is another color I'm really enjoying and I think will look good with my skin tone. And so those are some camisole tanky tops that I'm planning on making. While we were gone, I also ordered some more yarn from Bird Street. Yarn, John and Claire are the couple behind Bird Street, and they live in the UK, and they are just cutest little couple ever. He used to work in schools, and now he's retired and he dies, and he's just got a phenomenal ability with color. This is his 75-25 merino nylon 4-ply. It's called Taika Hike, and it's got greens and blues and tans, and there's some speckles in there, and it's just lovely. And so this one I was thinking would make a really good hat, and so I'm really thinking this one will be a muscle burl hat because that's an easy hat, and I know a lot of people that like them, and I do gift knit for teachers that I work with because they're pretty amazing and they deal with a lot of stress on a daily basis, some of which comes from my own child. Actually, she's pretty good. But my main reason for ordering from Bird Street was to get this. This is a lovely yarn. This is a baby gray alpaca silk cashmere 4-ply. It's called Tamarisk, and it is super soft. I got 2 skeins of it, And this is going to become a shawl for my non-biological niece. She's one of my best friend's daughters, and she just calls me auntie, and I refer to her as my niece. She's getting married in December on the big island of Hawaii, and I told her when she told me she was engaged, I said, Auntie wants to make you a shawl for your wedding. And she said, of course. And so we talked about shawl patterns and shapes and what she liked, and I sent her some options, and she had it narrowed down to 2, and I asked her about colors, and she said, I want this like a pinkish, sandish, pearlish color. And I said, what about this? And she's like, that's perfect. And so from there she was able to narrow down the pattern she wanted, and it looks like sand and waves, and it's going to be lovely. And so this is going to be my next shawl cast on because I want to have that ready for her. And so this is going to be for Scarlett, and I'm very excited for her wedding and to see her get married. She's such a sweet, delightful girl, and I love her very, very much. That being said, her mama also needs a shawl, and so I'm actually going to knit her mom the exact same shawl, but I'm using Birch Street yarn. This is just the 75-25 merino nylon blend in the color Deeper, and it's just a dark navy blue. She said that she would want a one color shawl that was navy. One of Scarlett's colors is navy, the other one is an emerald green, and so we figured this would go with a lot of things, and so I'm going to knit the exact same shawl in the navy blue for her mom, Andrea. So I have those 2 shawls I need to get done before Christmas. So they are blocked and ready to go so that when we head out to Hawaii, we can have them ready for them. So that is it for right now. And we will see how this is received and whether I do this again or not. But this was fun to do, and we will see. Thank you. See you later.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.